YouTube, your eyes do not deceive you. This is the top 8 with Sharks and Adamancipator. Adamancipator right now is on the tier list at tier 3. It momentarily was at tier 2. There is a strong, dedicated group of mad lads joining every community tournament, trying to top all of them, and they're doing quite well. And now they finally made it to the Meta Weekly top 16. Snaxel is here representing why Block Dragon should go back onto the ban list. Now, Hipster, what is good? We got Barrier Statue. Are you out of your mind? I like to think that this is a nice contingency plan to play around a Maxi or a Fool loss, so it's fair if they're going to try to shut down your turn that you whip this out instead. Now, with that all out of the way, I will start the top 8. Thank you for watching as long as you can. That greatly supports this event. Let's go.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
7 Tachyon, searching our deck for our Big Jaws. Now, the Big Jaws can be special summon the turn we activated a spell. We're going to max C as the Call by the Grave fingers the C, which means we get to see a full turn 1 Shark play without disruption. No Maxi, no Fool loss, no Imperm, no Ash, no Veiler. This is the first time. It's been like, what, 3 weeks I've been waiting for this. Hipster, please show us the way. We have the ability to Xyz during the opponent's turn using the full armored Xyz, which will turn into a form of disruption. We have a Floodgate, which states all non-waters cannot be special summoned. We have the ability to non-target suck up a monster. And we have the Virtue Stream, which could pop up to 2 cards on the field. So about 4 forms of disruption, with one of them being a deadly Floodgate and a Maxi backing it up. Now, oh, DK, this is toxic. This is not a part of the normal play. You could pretend that this is not here, all right? But it is here. It's here. And, yep, it's probably going to win the whole duel here. We're going to Vernissalif. Send from the deck to the grave. The Tackle Crusader, which is going to flip the Floodgate face down. Floodgated no more. Not today. But I still scoop. I just want to let you know that I had an out to that. I didn't lose because of your barrier. Yep, hit him with the shifter. So, Maxi 2, just in case you could play through that. Oh, maybe you can, because you're cross-out designating the Maxi. Sure. We're going to be summoning our Millennium cards at least. So what's our plan B if we can't use the grave? Anything sent to the grave is banished instead. Let's set this up, and let's go. Plan B activated. Summon the Golem, searching for the Wedju Temple. Wedju Temple will put a monster from our hand into the back row, which will be our Millennium Shield, plus the Senjin from the deck. Summon and search for a Golem. As we now summon the Millennium Shield from our back row. Normal summon Mudora, a 4 material Apollo USA, and then pass. A single Imperm deletes her. A single Ogre deletes her. Let's see if we draw it. Nope. Parelia. Rip. Parelia doesn't work against the Millennium cards anyway because they summon from the back or not from the hand. Apollo USA, negate the Buzzsaw Shark. Now, one of the main outs to Apollo is attack over her, but she's at 2,400 attack. So we're going to negate, again, the Crystal Shark. Now, she is within an attackable range. Goodbye to the Buzzsaw Shark, taking out the Apollo USA, and no more are the cards banished. Let's go. Parelia in the standby phase. Vernissalif, discard the Seeker, search in our deck. We're seeking out the Vernissalif Awakening Force. We're going to reborn the Seeker. And, I mean, we got nothing. Bro, we de-shifted and we're going to still lose? What the heck? Wait, we whiffed the Adamancipator. No, that's not good. Vernissalif Awakening Force is going to get the Revival Golem and Grave reborning itself back onto the field as we now go into the Gallant Grand Knight, which we'll be searching for. We all know it. He knows it. That's why I scooped Block Dragon to the hand. What the heck? Buzzsaw Shark is going to summon from the deck a Big Jaw going to the Baja Mutt. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck? Shifter's no longer activatable. You are right. So what's happening? Can we pull enough cards out of the grave to make Shifter activatable? We're going to grab a Virtue Stream. And now you get hit with the Droll and Lockbird because we're not under Shifter. But we're going to detach a material, add the Big Jaws from engrave back to our hand, and then end the turn. We don't have a way to get Buzzsaw out of the grave to make Shifter activatable. This is just dead. I guess we only use this as a turn 2 play. because, yeah, we ideally are adding from our graveyard, using the graveyard, thus we would not want to be using Shifter. Do we not have a different line of play where we don't have to rely on adding back the Big Jaw if we're under our own Shifter? Now, what are our disruptions? We do have Virtue Stream, which could destroy 2 cards in the field, and the Block Dragon can't be destroyed, and I think it makes the other cards indestructible also. That's a big problem. And then we have Ash Blossom, so let's go. Analyzer is here. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this from the hand, reveal the top 5 cards of our deck to summon a rock non-tuner, and there is the Guardian ready to negate an Ash Blossom. Ash on a Vernissalith is a huge negate. Like they have to send themselves to the graveyard plus another card. You Ash, they lose everything. It's like it's a -1 overall because they lose a card, then you lose 2 cards. But the Guardian is protecting that play. As we reborn the Vernissalith onto the field, we have the Senjin. We're going to wait for the activation of the Senjin effect, taking out the Guardian and the Senjin to ensure that we can now use our Ash Blossom and the Senjin doesn't summon, then search. Vernissalith number 2, Ash negate, massive play, but what does 2 level 4 monsters on the field mean? That means Granite into Block Dragon into infinitely special summoning, searching for 3 cards in the deck. We are in big trouble now. Virtue Stream is going to be coping, turning Block Dragon into a water monster, which did nothing. We're now going to go into Asa, Block Dragon, searching for a Kokamira Guardian, Researcher, and a Seeker. We have not even committed to our normal summon yet. Now, if you have a hand trap, which you don't, we're going to negate it. Adamancipator, Researcher, looking at the top 5 cards of the deck. We have a Xenokatar to summon off the top of the deck, seeking ourselves onto the field again. 5 cards off the top of the deck. Another Guardian could be summoned here, which is exactly what we summon. We're going to use 3 bodies going into a level 10 Chang Ying, banish the Block Dragon, trigger the Chang Ying to non-target. I guess we're doing that later. We're going to send a Revival Golem from the deck to the grave, and then we're going to go into a Baron DeFleur. Snaxel doesn't want to have them surrender early, so we are waiting. We're going into a Goddess instead. We're not going to banish your monster. Goddess is here. We're going to Perelia to draw per summon from your hand. Negate the whole field. Negate anything, non-target banish from the field and grave, and just like that, baiting the Ash Blossom with Vernissalith, which I thought you said it's a good negate. It is. Just because there's a good negate does not mean that there isn't a better negate. There just was a better negate. 2-1 victory. We got Primite Barrel searching for the Lordy Load. We do have just a Max C. We're ready to fire that off soon. Potentially, we're not waiting to do it on the resolution, the barrel, before they link 1. We want to wait for a further commitment before we fire off that Max C. As the link 1 searches for the Mausoleum, additionally summoning the Sage. Sage searching for the Maiden of White. Maiden of White setting up the True Light into the back row. We're going to send a Bloomsway Dragon for the deck to the grave, and now we're going to be using that Maxi in response to the Link 1 activating to reborn a Bloomsway Dragon from the grave. We're going to chain True Light to summon that Bloomsway Dragon, thus you don't draw for Maxi. You waited for my commitment to guarantee a draw, but I still denied you from drawing a card. And then I'm just going to pass. And as I've continually said, Maxi or Full Loss against Blue Eyes is resulting in them still having a ton of disruption. We have Drill Beam, Negate, and Banish a card in the field. We have Pop a card in the field with Majesty. We have Negate with Veiler. We have Pop a card with Ogre. 4 forms of disruption. Emergency off the top of the deck. Super Polymerization. We're going to fuse away the field into a Moo Dragon, which can possibly make it so the drill, I was going to say negate, it was possibly going to make it so the drill beam cannot be used onto our fire monsters, but unfortunately, the ogre is going to be wiping out the Moo Dragon, ensuring that the drill beam will be usable onto the Diablo Star, as the Blue Eyes White Dragon reborns itself back in the field, turning back on the drill beam, also reborning the Maiden. We have Veiler. We're just scooping. We have Drill Beam could be used. We have Majesty. We still have 3 forms of disruption with pretty much just 2 plays. We have, well, the Emergency with no other Rescue Ace in the hand, so we'd have to summon a Rescue Ace, then send the Rescue Ace. It doesn't trigger. Nothing crazy happens there. It's just an unfortunate scenario where we very much were relying on the Moo Dragon to make the Diablo Star untargetable and then make plays from there. It is now time for Branded versus Daradurn. Well, what is Daradurn playing? I think this is a hand trap deck. It's a Bestial or Fiendsmith hand trap deck. It becomes a lot more popular once Lacrima is released, so do expect more of this deck soon. And you may be thinking, what happened to Nicky Boy? Nicky Boy was just playing against Blue Eyes with his Rescue Ace deck. Well, apparently, I don't know. This is what he said. Nicky Boy said, I got obliterated, and then the second duel exploded, and that's what happened. We only had access to just one duel, and so we're now moving on from there. Get ready as we hop into game number 1, Branded versus a full hand trap deck. We do have the grass looking greener to mill exactly 20 cards here. What the? We are going first. I like to think of the Mirror Jade, Cartesia, and Quem as the Holy Trinity, because the Cartesia could get the Mirror Jade engrave, and then the Quem could reborn the Mirror Jade, ensuring that you could double non-target monster banish when you have this play. So generally, with these 3 cards, you have non-target monster banish, whatever you fuse into, plus the Quem reborning to banish again. That would be 3 forms of disruption. We then have the Mercurier to negate a monster effect. We have banishment, which could reborn, then fuse to the field, potentially a 5th form of disruption, then the fusion monster being a disruption, so being 6. We have Rinbrum plus the Albaz, allowing us to fuse with the opponent's monster on the field, being 7 disruption, plus whatever we fuse into, being up to 8 disruption. I know there's a lot of this is super conditional, so it may not actually be up to 8 forms of disruption, but let's find out. Let's do it. Begin. 8. Got Regain plus the Engraver. We're going to call with the Grave Finger the Engraver, which I was not counting as a form of disruption here. We're going to Baldrake Chain Banish the Engraver. We're going to Mercurier negate that Chain Banish, but we have a Magna Hut also. Magna Hut, Chain Banish the Engraver a second time, ensuring that it does not get negated by the finger. It will also trigger the Regain to then return it back and draw a card. So we lost out on our Mercurier. We're now at 7 forms of disruption here. Searching for our Fiendsmith track, triggering the Regain to draw a card, and the Magna Hut Chain Link blocking the Regain from potentially, let's say, an Ogre. We're going to search for a Dragon during the end phase. As we randomly draw into a Lurie, we're now going to attack into the Cartesia as we use the Banishment to fuse with the field. So we're at 6 disruption, and the board load is part of those 6 forms of disruption. Branded Lost, searching for an Albion Shrouded, which will draw a card during the next turn. We're going to normal summon the Lurie, non-target monster Banish, away the Lurie, and we had a lot more from there. Okay, let's go. That's a spell, and it includes the effect of special summoning. We're going to chain Branded Opening before the Retaliating Sea hits the field, and once it hits the field, everything sent to the grave is banished instead. Well, does that completely screw up a Branded deck or not? Let's find out as the Owlburst searches for a Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion will be banished as it gets negated by the Ash Blossom. Now, is there a way to get back our Branded Fusion? Kit on summon can add back a banished Branded Fusion. We're going to Gold Sark, banish from the deck our Tragedy, search in our deck, and that search will be the Quem, which we still have our normal summon, which would send from the deck to the grave, which would get banished instead. So we're going to be banishing the Mercurier, which will be searching our deck for an Albaz. Now, set the Branded High Spirits, and the turn back to you. What is going on with that Retaliating Sea? Just like that, the Denko Senka is turning off the back, where we're going to go into a Coritis. Banishing away the Cartesia and Alubur. We're going to be reducing the field to 0 attack, including our own Quem, searching for a Maxi with the Retaliating Sea being sent to the grave. And now that there isn't a Denko Senka on the field, we're going to be fusing with the Moon. How? What the heck? Well, the Branded High Spirits gets Albaz in the grave, also getting an extra deck monster in the grave, triggering the Quem because an extra deck monster left the extra deck to reborn the Albaz, and also it gave us a card to discard with the Albaz that we sent to the grave to summon and fuse away with the Moon before it turns into a Requiem. Let's do it. Reborn, but Baldrake is here to banish away the Albaz, stopping that entire play. You will not stop me. Now, we could go into the Requiem. What? Oh, hold up. We just double linked off with the Goddess using the effect Goddess into a Requiem. 2 bodies are gone. Unbelievable. We're going to equip onto the Engraver as we now set this up. Now, I was reading someone saying like, oh, you gotta play differently so that doesn't happen. How do you play differently? If it points forward in top right, so it could be the left extra monster zone or the middle, or the right extra monster zone plus the right side. So the only safe, it hits 4 zones. The only safe spot is the 5th zone, but the 5th zone is gonna be used by Goddess, and any other monster in the other 4 will be used by the Moon of the Closed Heaven, so you can't play around it. Let's get swinging. 2K plus 18. Top right still gets hit. What are you talking about? Yeah, I can't show you my fingers on it. It does these 4 zones. So it being these 4 zones and you have the monster here, the regular Goddess will use that monster and then the Moon will use any of the other 4 zones. Now, what is this? Drawing for our turn, our branded losses. We have a Cartesia in our hand. There, what we drawing? Okay, there's the draw. We were adding with Albion the branded loss. There you go. And now the Wave King Caesar has a really unfortunate downside, and the downside is it negates the activation of an effect to special summon. Now, normally that's pretty good. It can negate a damage step. The downside is when we have a card that specifically states you can negate the effect, it actually doesn't say that, but you can't negate the activation, and that's what you do. So your Wave King Caesar does nothing against Branded Lost if we're activating an effect to fusion summon. Big problem. Gold Sark is going to be banishing from the deck a Mercurier searching for an Albaz monster. We have the Albion Shrouded, and now we're going to use the Branded Loss with the Cartesia. This is an attempt to negate, which doesn't work, mate. We're going to Branded Sword, add back a banished Albaz. Come to me as we chain the Max C. Let's go. Loss will trigger. This fusion summon cannot be negated because you're trying to negate the activation of it, not the effect of it. Otherwise, it would have negated it. Let's come forth and go into the Albion branded dragon. The Albion branded dragon will activate on Chainlink 1, ensuring that the newly summoned fusion monster will also not be respondable to. Grabbing an Albaz from the deck as we are going to banish from the graveyard, going into a Mirror Jade. Now, in response to our own summon where the opponent cannot respond to, let's say they have a Veiler in hand, you could activate Mirror Jade to banish away the Wave King Caesar, and they can't use Veiler because it's in response to your own summon as long as it's on Chainlink 1. That's probably what we just did. Banish away, so they wouldn't be able to chain. And now we're going to Albion Shrouded Dragon, send an Albaz to the grave to summon the Albion from the hand to give us 8,000 damage on the field. If they were to have a Bestial, we would have been able to banish it with the Mirror Jade, completely outing the Retaliating Sea. Ain't no way. We have Barrel on summon, setting a load from the deck. Let's load it up, searching for a Drill Beam. And now we have Maiden, setting up a search with the Wishes. With the Wishes, it will give us access to a Sage. And it's an interesting situation here. If you Wishes early, you could recycle the Drill Beam. But if you Wishes early, you don't know that your Link 1 is going to get negated by an impermanence, so you're committing to searching for a Sage that actually can't be summoned. But if your Link 1 gets disrupted from searching for Mausoleum to normal summon the Sage, is the Sage now useless? No, you can, insured with the Maiden, to have this on the field, target it with the Sage to +1 a body on the field to still potentially give you another form of disruption. So let's see if that happens. Gonna grab you, Drill Beam, recycle, since we didn't go into the Link 1 early. Now that we have that Sage, it's not gonna be summonable as the impermanent is revealed, but we didn't lose another card from our hand because we were able to recycle the Drill Beam. But that's the downside of using this order of plays, where otherwise the Sage would have just been a Veiler. We're going to summon a Blue Eyes in the deck, so we actually don't have the play now because we are not negating, but preventing the Maiden from even activating. And the Magna Hut banished the Maiden. So this Sage was just... Because we did not want to discard another card, we have a dead Sage in hand. Is going to be that big of a deal, though. We're going to Druid Swarm, banish away the Blue Eyes. Now, we did see in a Blue Eyes Mirror match that as soon as both Blue Eyes Dragons were banished and the Roar has already been used, that they instantly scooped. Now, how many forms of disruption do we have? We have a Bestial, we have a Purge, we have Drill Beam, and we have the Majesty and the Heretics. We have 5 disruptions still. What the heck is going on? This is absolute insanity. Through Imperm and double Bestial, I could still 5. This really is the best deck, huh? Barrel is here on summon, setting up the Lordy Load into our back row. Lordy Load is going to get spun back into the hand. It is not activatable again from the hand after activating it. So it stops a Blue Eye Summon. It stops a Drill Beam Search. We're at 4 disruption now. Spirit with Eyes of Blue. I choose to grab the Mausoleum to our hand, as we now can additionally summon what? Nothing. We have nothing to additionally summon. We're going to Magna Hut, banish away the Blue Eyes White Dragon. To activate the Magna Hut, searching for a dragon within the end phase, take out the barrel, wipe out the Magna Hut, boosted 3,300 to the face. We still have our 3 other forms of disruption. Set the True Light, summon Heretic Seal. End phase, we are going to non-target pop away that Heretic Seal. And then we're going to True Light, set up into our back row a Roar, which could grab back our banished Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, our forms of disruption is exactly 0. we have nothing. They had 5 disruption, and then after our turn, we have nada. 0. Roar from the deck, banish or grave. We're going to Drill Beam, banish the True Light, which is potentially another big play, getting rid of that from the game. And just like that, we're hopping into game number 2. Kilbun now going first. Barrel on summon, we're going to hit it with a Veiler. Now, this is a different play from both players here. Kilbun had an Imperm, saved it for the Link 1 summon, where Mobile X is not saving the Imperm or Veiler, using it onto the barrel instead. Mirroring a different playstyle here with the exact same opening play. We're now going to go into the Link 1 without it being disrupted. So this allows us to now get a Blue Eyes into the graveyard to then summon it onto the field. Also allows us to additionally summon a Sage if we have access to it, which we do through the True Light. Get the Blue Eyes in grave, Sage reborn the Blue Eyes, and then also trigger the Maiden come forth onto the field. And by making this play, it ensures that an Ogre will not be able to pop the True Light and then wipe out the field. It will still pop the True Light, it will just not wipe out the field. But by doing this, we don't get the Neo Ultimate Blue Eyes in grave. But instead of Ash, they have Purge. So this could also be a different situation where I'm okay with negating the barrel because if you have a follow-up play, I at least am able to stop it if it's a Wishes. So the Maiden into Wishes. So the only way to make the negate on barrel be a bad play is if they only have 1 of 3 Sages instead of 1 of 9 cards. That does change things quite a bit. We have Call of the Grave plus a Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. We have 1 form of disruption plus the Call by, so I'll count it as 2. We're going to summon our Blue Eyes from our hand or grave. It's going to be from the grave Blue Eyes, so a dragon triggering the Maiden in grave to summon itself onto the field. Now, with that called by onto the Maiden, that's going to be huge. Potentially, you'd want to think of a way to summon a Blue Eye Spirit Dragon without committing to activating Maiden, so that you could chain the Spirit Dragon into an Ultimate Dragon to stop the called by from fingering your Maiden. Protect your Maiden. Don't let her get fingered. We're going to be searching for a Veiler with the Sage. We're going to use the Link 1, and okay, the finger's going for Blue Eyes instead. And if you try to finger my Blue Eyes, I'm going to use Ultimate Fusion to shuffle it back in the deck. Dodge the finger. Now, we're not popping a card in the field here because we didn't use a Blue Eyes in the field, but the Maiden is now safe from the finger. Perfect. We're going to boost up the Tyrant Dragon, which this is important to do because the Ultimate Dragon's at 4,000 defense. We're cycling the Purge. This is what, a third, fourth major instance within today's event of the Purge being used on the first turn and then being recycled with the Tyrant Dragon on the very next turn. And how beneficial that is an incredible play. So if you're on the fence about Purge, you need to be playing it. Oh my Jesus, what is going on? This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disruption again. Back-to-back 5 disruption. What could Kilbun do? We have Barrel and Grave recycling. Nope, as the Blue-Eyed Spirit Dragon negates. We still have 5 disruption. That wasn't even counted as one of the forms of disruption. You have Majesty chaining to the activation of the True Light to set a card from the deck. Pop it like an MST. Negate. Doesn't actually negate, but it stops continuous effect. We're now going to follow up with the Lordy Load. We're going to Purge, negate the load, which was recycled with the Tyrant Dragon. We're now down to 3 disruption. We had a Trap in Grave, so it actually destroyed it because the Majesty. We now, with the Roar, summon a Blue-Eyed White Dragon from the deck or grave here as the Maiden triggers, reborning itself onto the field. Wishes will be equipping onto the Blue-Eyed White Dragon a Neo Ultimate as we now turn the Spirit Dragon into a Black Rose Moonlight Dragon on summon. We are going to target a special summon monster and return it to the hand. Now, this actually is generally a really bad play because True Light says your opponent cannot target Blue-Eyed White Dragon with card effects. Well, where's True Light? You don't have True Light. You also don't have Neo Ultimate engraved to protect your Blue Eyes from the Moonlight. So 2 very common cards to stop this play are nowhere in sight. Returned back to the hand. What did we just do here? We just disrupted with a True Light when it's not a form of disruption because we Chain Link blocked the Mausoleum. Chain Link blocked the Maiden, I should say, from activating to reborn a monster from Engrave, which could have been the Blue-Eyed White Dragon. So no Blue-Eyed White Dragon summon for you because of a simple activation of True Light. Block it. We didn't even have to use Veiler. We're going to trigger our own Maiden, Reborn. We're going to use the Maiden to reset the True Light, which we already activated. Goodbye to the Moonlight Dragon here. As Kilbun's out of juice. We are really just out. And once we search for the Drill Beam, it's pretty much over. Before we know the Drill Beam will be negating the True Light, we're going to use our final activation here, summoning our Blue-Eyed White Dragon, triggering the Maiden in Grave, and then with an active Drill Beam, we can do whatever we want within this duel. Maiden Reborn, we're going to Wishes equip onto the Blue-Eyed White Dragon. We have already used Tyrant Dragon, so this is our second copy of Tyrant Dragon. We have nothing to Chain Link block the Maiden. So they are able to successfully activate Maiden in response to a card effect targeting her, where we were not able to because we saved our True Light for that Chain Link block. We target Maiden for an attack, it reborns from Engrave, but it does not matter because the Tyrant Dragon can simply attack everything on the field. In the Triangle event, I killed a Stealth Crag and it summoned another Kragan, which summoned a Kragan, and I summoned a Kragan. It just attack, again. Real lethal damage, True Light, reborn from the grave, Blue-Eyed White Dragon, and just like that, White Lightning. 2-0 victory. Begin. Starting off with a Lordy Load, searching for a Primite Barrel. Barrel on someone's going to set a Drill Beam from the deck. We now know that's going to be the main card dealing with our grass looking greener. Can we trick them into Drill Beaming something else? We're going to be searching for a Mausoleum to additionally summon our Sage. So we do have a Bestial to stop the Maiden from reborning from Engrave. As the Maiden sends herself to the grave to put into the back of our True Light, we're going to send a Blue-Eyed White Dragon from the deck to the grave. Spirit with Eyes of Blue, summon a Blue-Eyed White Dragon here, and we're not going to go for the gamble play of trying to banish the Blue Eyes because there could be another one in hand. Instead, we're going straight for that Maiden. And the Lordy Load would be able to summon another Blue-Eyed White Dragon anyway, so it's not even a good gamble. With the Maiden now gone, we're going into a Spirit Dragon Synchro, setting up a Wishes from the deck, discard a card. Ooh, that's something. That Lordy Load was enabling the Drill Beam to always be on no matter what would happen to the field. Now we are reliant on having a Blue-Eyed White Dragon on the field or the Drill Beam's going to be no good. And Abomod notoriously is able to turn off the use of Drill Beam. Well, we're feeling confident with that Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field at the moment, so let's talk about our forms of disruption. I think against Branded, we can consider the Graveyard Banishments as a form of disruption, which is going to inflate the amount of disruptions I'll be counting here. But beyond the Graveyard Banishes, we have a Veiler, we have a Majesty, we have a Drill Beam, we have a Spirit Dragon. We have 4 disruptions plus 2 ways to banish from the grave, giving us 6 forms of disruption. And we have 2 ways to stop the grass. That's the main focus here. If we go into an ultimate Spirit Dragon, we can negate the activation of grass, or we could just Drill Beam banish it away. Let's see how Abomod proceeds. Set. Ho, ho, ho. This means we have to have our toggle on. And this means that Mobile EX, being the top player that he is, he knows that that face down card is an Albaz. This is a contact fusion. And a contact fusion, we're going to be going into the Lenatus. And by going into Lenatus, the Drill Beam gets turned off, the Ultimate Spirit turned off, which would then mean our grass is 100% safe to use. Well, we know that's the plan and we're not allowing it. Pop that Albaz, not today. That would work against 99% of other players, though. We are going to, with Fusion Deployment, summon it. Oh, that's the second one. How do we stop the second one? Are we really going to Drill Beam the Albaz? Well, let's at least Spirit Dragon. Come forth. Moonlight! Let's go! Target the special summon Albaz and return it back to the hand. And now Abomod's thinking, all right, 1 down, 1 more to go for my grass to be safely used. All right, well, I will get you to Drill Beam. You're going to. It's exactly what I said. We're focusing on using the grass without it being negated. Durastorm is going to send to the graveyard. We're going to use Veiler onto the Boardlord Furious. This tells me I think we were entering the battle phase to safely use the Furious Dragon, so instead by forcing it to be used within the main phase, at the end of the main phase is when we're activating that Veiler. It's going to chain to it being Veilered to get popping. And there you go. The clouds open up for Abomod's grass looking greener. We could finally use it safely. Just like that, mill cards off the top of the deck, continually milling. That is a ton of cards milled. We're going to send from the deck to the grave with the Serenera Retribution, recycling the Branded Fusion here. And Mobile EX just cannot freaking believe his eyes. What the heck happened? We had Ultimate Spirit, we had Drill Beam, but Abomod got us to use our other cards. There was nothing else we could do. He was tricking us into our entire field potentially getting contact fused with not once but twice. As we now Lubellian Fusion on summon, discard Branded Sword, banishing Mercourier. We're gonna grab a kit, fuse into the Star Source Dragon, which is great for popping True Light. Take out the back row called by, take out the True Light, which will wipe away the Blue Eyes White Dragon. We're going to call by the grave, finger the engraved Lubellion, stopping it from being reborn, as the True Light, as our final play, will be setting up a roar to be used during the next turn. Finger the Lubellion. True Light will then wipe out the Blue Eyes White Dragon, opening up the field. Now, the Lubellion cannot declare an attack. Is that new, where it has that icon saying it can't attack? That's pretty cool to see. So we have 9,000 damage, but not enough because the Lubellion can't swing. Kit on summon is going to be searching for the Banished Retribution, returning it back on the deck. We have the Baja Magna Hut, that is, being negated by the Mercourier. We accounted for you having a Bestial stopping my lethal play. We accounted for everything. This is the way. And just like that, Abomod somehow winning, going second against Blue Eyes White Dragon. Damn. It was all about the grass. Summon the Sage, so we're going to wait with the wishes. Sage on summon, searching for the Maiden. Link this off into a Spirit with Eyes of Blue. So these are all Ash uses, potentially not good ones, I would say. Didn't ash, and you should not be ashing. We're going to be using the Maiden to set up the True Light into the back row. We're going to send from the deck of Blue Eyes another ashable effect, which you would not do. And then the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, reborning the Blue Eyes White Dragon, trigger the Maiden. And we're just holding on to the Max C. But now, we're going to use Max C in response to the Maiden triggering to reborn from the graveyard. Now, you might be thinking, why not use Max C in response to the Spirit Link? Well, we already saw this in another duel. That's because if they activate Max C to your Spirit Link, you chain True Light so that they then draw 0 cards because the True Light will be the higher chain link summoning the Blue Eyes, and then the Spirit Link will have no card to summon. This ensures we summon a Maiden to get a draw off of, and unfortunately, the Wishes does get negated. We didn't try to True Light set up a Roar, then try to trick them with that, because instead we'd prefer to set a Majesty instead. So what did we end on here? Of course, we didn't want to commit to a Synchro. Under the effect of Maxi stopping us from getting another form of disruption, we instead just have a Majesty plus an Imperm backed up by a Max C. Let's see. We have Bestial Lubellion searching for our Serenir. Serenir banishing away the Sage here as we're going to chain Max C. We're going to chain Branded in High Spirits to discard the Serenir, thus you don't get the draw for Max C. So I want you to understand this common theme between these top players here is that when Max C is used, they're doing anything they can to chain a quick effect to the Max C to stop their own special summon. No draw for you. The top players are always thinking about card advantage. 1 for 1, -1, +1. Don't give them pluses unless it's worth it. We're going to Contact Fuse, which that was deemed worth it to summon under Max C. We have Retribution, which is going to be adding the Branded Fusion Engraved to our hand. We're now going to be we are really committing under this Max C, by the way. I think we're thinking about game. We are going for game. With the Branded Loss, we're going to activate the Branded Fusion. We're going to chain the Majesty of the White Dragons. Now, you got to be thinking, why was Lenatus such a high priority? We don't know that this is not a Drill Beam. That could be turning off Drill Beam by getting rid of the Blue Eyes, potentially. As we wipe away the Branded Lost to come forth and summon from the deck an Albion Branded Dragon, which we can now use the Imperm onto, where otherwise we could not have used it because of the Branded Lost turning off the window of being able to respond to a fusion summon. Negate the Albion. Now we are going to thrust a card into our hand, branded in white with Albaz Grave. We're going to be using the Graveyard, fusing by banishing away the Albaz Serenir for a Boarlord Furious Dragon here. That is 8,000 damage. We are going to be forcing the activation of the True Light as we attempt to pop the Lubellion within the battle phase, setting up an ultimate fusion into the back row. True Light wipes away the field. Baldrake is going to put onto the field 8,000 damage here. And that's game under Max C. What do we do? That they can all attack. 8,000 perfect damage. Lethal damage. Wow. I don't need grass to beat you, is what Abelmad said with that duel. Load, search a barrel, or no. How about you don't do that, and now you just have load. Load could special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but how is that even good? Revealing, like, do you understand summoning a Blue Eyes in the hand tells the opponent that you have 2 in the hand? Snaxel's got to be thinking, did he either misclicked, misplayed, or he really does have the second Blue Eyes in his hand? We are going to put the Golem into the back row, activating to special summon. Now we can use Droll and Lockbird, or we could use Purge if there's a card on the field. Thanks to there being a card on the field, a turn 2 Max C does not work. Come forth, Golem, and if you are new to watching Adamancipator, a single Golem, a single Senjin is 3 bodies on the field, into a Curious, into Send Block Dragon, into Mill 3, into Block Dragon, wham bam, thank you ma'am, win the whole duel. And I guess we're going to be doing that within main phase too, possibly, right? Well, we didn't go into the Curious plays. Now we're doing it. Curious is here. On summon, Ash Blossom, negate. That's probably why we went to the battle phase first. We wanted to deal with the Blue Eyes White Dragon in case they had Ash. You could feel the Ash on the activation of your effects where Ash could be used there. Their field keeps on lighting up, but they're not using Ash. They must be saving it for something better like the Curious. Lordy Load, reborn that Blue Eyes White Dragon onto the field, but any newly special summon monsters are not activatable. This is making Blue Eyes look really bad. Holy crap, this sucks. Our only disruptions have been Ash Blossom and Ash Blossom. Beyond that, there's nothing we could do. Ashing Vernisilith is immensely beneficial here, as they do not have another direct way to go into the Block Dragon, flip down the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and hopefully we're going to draw into something. There we go. That is what we're talking about. Full wombo combo from here. Grab a Roar plus a Maiden, as we don't want a Sage to get negated by a potential impermanence. So we're going to go straight into the Maiden, setting up the True Light, reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon, trigger the Maiden, come forth, and we're not triggering the Maiden actually yet. We're going to equip the Neo Ultimate to now go into a Tyrant Dragon. We're going to first Blue Eyes White Dragon, take out the Curious, which has another effect of recycling the Engrave Purge back to the hand, but lethal damage on the attack of the Tyrant Dragon. We're going to Imperm try to negate the unaffected from Traps monster. How did Blue Eyes White Dragon win the duel here? Well, the Millennium cards kind of have the downside of paying 2,000 life per activation. And boy, did we drop our life down. We dropped it to what? 2,000 life? We Shield, Senjin, Golem, 2K, 2K, 2K. Golem put itself into the back row, activate, Ogre, destroy, stopping the summon and search, finger the Ogre, that is the way, and thus we have no other play to stop this unstoppable play into a Curious, into a Block Dragon. Let's speed this up. We're going to banish in the grave, reborn the Block Dragon. We gave up on the Seeker activation, right? We just didn't have room to use it. Where is the Seeker? It's banished. Yeah, we actually did not summon off the top of the deck here. We didn't have to. And then we Baron to floor, pop our Ogre away. Now, what did we accomplish here? We have the ability to negate anything, and also any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So if Maiden states she has to go to the graveyard to activate, this would not, and stop her from even being activatable. And we also have the Masquerena, which could go into a double Little Knight banish. We have the Baron to floor, which will Omni negate anything, and we have double Monster negate with the Apollo USA, 6 forms of disruption plus an Ash Blossom, 7 disrupt. Let's see what we could do. Ban the Apollo. Barrel on summon, negating its activation to set up a Lordy Load and stopping its ability from going into the Link 1, which will then follow up into a potential Sage. Lordy Load, searching for the Drill Beam, which is not activatable. We're now going to Masquerena with the Baron to floor, going into the Little Knight to banish away the Lordy Load before it summons a Blue Eyes White Dragon, which would turn on the Drill Beam. We have 5 disruption left. Wishes will be banishing the effect Veiler. Ash Blossom will be negating the Wishes. 4 disruptions left. We have a negate anything, negate 2 monsters, and banish a monster on the field. We did not use the Herald of Arc Light to negate the Roar, summoning a Blue Eyes White Dragon here. We're going to Wishes banish, equipping a Neo Ultimate onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon and turn it into a Tyrant and then attacking everybody on the field. Little Knight's going to banish it away with our 3 disruptions left. Blue Eyes White Dragon comes back. Drill Beam is pinned down by the Herald of Arc Light. It's not able to be activated without being negated. We're going to be reborning the Masquerena thanks to there being a Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field as we summon a Soldier of Chaos. What the? Drill Beam. Allows it to get banished. Sure, we don't care. Let's take out the Blue Eyes White Dragon, activate, as it's going to make a second attack during the battle phase of your next turn. I've never seen that effect be used. What? Okay, we're going to get rid of it as we summon an Azza, reborn the Block Dragon, set an Imperm, and pass. Now, what did we accomplish here? We have the Impermanence, which can negate, plus Little Knight could I should say Masquerena could be reborn off of the Elf to then go into what? Underworld Goddess, maybe? It will be a play? Okay, we have Goddess. Masquerena into Goddess plus Imperm. Barrel recycling itself from Engrave, thanks to there being a Blue Eyes White Dragon Engrave. Negate the Barrel and reborn the Masquerena. We're going to chain Max C, get a draw off of that, a very much needed draw. We're at 0 normal summons left. Off the top of the deck, what are we ripping into? Masquerena it up into a Triple Tactics Talent. We used Elf, and now we're using Masquerena. We are going exactly into what I said. Closed Heaven, Worlds, you know it, Goddess, link up with the entire field. It is untargetable, but we gave them another draw because of the Max C. We're going to follow up with the Lordy Load. Drill Beam is not activatable. Triple Tactics Talent. We're going to take control. Give me your Sprite Elf. Elf's going to reborn our Max C, and the Goddess will negate the ability to reborn a monster from the grave. Not happening. Look at Blue Eyes trying its best. Lordy Load is still going to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck. And now, with this, the Drill Beam is activatable, targeting the Goddess, which is affected by an effect that would be targeting it, going into a... Bro, you're at 2,000 life again because the Millennium! No! How did that happen? The Millennium back-to-back got us down to 2,000 life. At 2,000 life, it's just a single bad battle phase and we lose. I cannot believe that happened. We are in the grand finale. Abomod versus Euzoria. Are you ready? Begin. We have Lubellion firing off its effect to search for a Serenir from the deck here. Brandon, High Spirits, reveal the Albaz to send from the extra deck to the grave a Titan Clad to then also send Albaz to search our deck for a Cartesia. Bro, what the heck? Don't you start the turn with 5 cards? How do you have 6 cards in a full freaking field? That does not seem right. Okay, now, what are our disruptions? Mirror Jade. Well, non-target monster banish, and if it goes to the grave, you could then reborn it with the Quem or the banishment, and then non-target monster banish again, potentially. We then have Rinbrum, which can negate an extra deck monster effect, and then return a monster in the field back to the hand. So that is going to be about triple disruption. We have the banishment, which could fuse with the opposing player's field into a form of disruption. We have Mercurier to negate a monster effect. We have Ash Blossom to gain interaction with the deck. We also have the Albaz effect to fuse with the opponent's field into a form of disruption. I know it doesn't seem like it, but this is potentially based off of many different conditions, up to 9 disruptions, not including the Max C. So let's go. 9. I rate this field a 9 out of 10. Mercurier, negate the barrel, but do not destroy it, thus giving the opportunity to go into a Link 1 summon. Or not, I'm going to banish you with our Mirror Jade. Now we're going to Mausoleum of White, additional summon, which we try to stop them from doing this. Sage searching for a Maiden of White. Maiden will be setting up a True Light into the back row. Now the Mausoleum will send from the deck to the grave of Blue Eyes White Dragon. True Light is activating to reborn that Blue Eyes White Dragon, but we're going to chain Max C, draw per special summon. Abomod, did you really need this? Come forth, Blue Eyes. If we trigger the Maiden, they're going to keep on drawing. They pass on the Maiden. We're going to use the banishment to fuse with their field into a Star Source, which will pop up to 2 cards on the field. And we're going to pop 1 card here, taking out the True Light. And we're going to be using the effect of the Branded Lost. Now, why are we not using Ogre? Well, we can't, because the Branded Lost turns off the activation window of being able to respond to a fusion summon if the fusion summon was on Chain Link 1. We have True Light activating to wipe away our Sage. We're going to Wishes with Eyes of Blue, discard the Ogre, Ash Blossom, negate. Ain't no way, mate. And what else do we have? We still have Albaz summon, fuse with their fields. We're going to roar the banished Blue Eyes, which is banished by the banishment, come forth back onto the field, triggering the Engraved Maiden, all under Max C, because why not? Grand Grenade triggering to banish to summon forth onto the field our Coritis. Coritis could reduce the opposing field to 0 attack, or we could use the effect, which is not good to use here, but then negate our badly used effect to turn it into a good effect to spin a card back to the hand. Negate our own effect to then shoo back to your hand, Maiden of White. By the way, I didn't target you, so you weren't able to chain. We're going to Wishes with Eyes of Blue, equip onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon to summon a Tyrant Dragon, and we can attack everything on the field. The Tyrant Dragon will trigger to equip the True Light. We really want the Rinbrum engraved, so we're going to ensure that the Rinbrum is the last thing we attack into, maybe not attacking into it at all. We don't want the Mirror Jade to wipe out the Tyrant. We don't want the Rinbrum to go into an Albaz to fuse with our field. We turned off the ability for Quem to reborn the Albaz to fuse with our field. We didn't have an opportunity to get Mirror Jade into the graveyard to then reborn it back to then banish again. So the 9 forms of disruption kind of turned down to instead being only about 6 or 7. We're going to put everything into attack position here with 8,000 damage on the field, but we have to get rid of that Tyrant Dragon. We're going to be recycling with the Tragedy, our Engrave Branded in White, to go into a Boarload Furious Dragon. Now, that will be triggering the Branded Loss. We're going to be chaining the Boarload, and you can't chain the True Light here because this is in response to our Fusion Summon on Chainlink 1. We're going to negate the Boarload, return back the Tyrant Dragon, so the True Light can activate to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon that does not exist. None in the grave, none in our hand. True Light is dead. Lethal damage. Damn. Rinbrum negated our own monster 3 times. Every turn we did it. We negated Mirror Jade, we negated our Caritas, we negated our Boarload Furious. Keep on negating your own card to spin a card back, or just to ensure Mirror Jade can get a monster from the extra deck into the grave without using up its once per 2 turn negate. Banish Mate, that's what it is. Let's hop into game 2. All right, we have a single play here. Load into barrel, but no way to segue into the Blue Eyes engine. This is Primite and just Primite against a branded deck. Is that going to be enough? Well, the Primite engine on its own, without Blue Eyes, is going to be a Hieratic Seal and a Drill Beam. So that's not too bad. And now you combo that up with your other cards. We have Imperm, we have Ash, we have Nibiru. 5 forms of disruption, but no Maiden, no True Light. Let's see what is good. Fusion Deployment is going to reveal the Albion Branded to summon an Albaz onto the field, but we are not activating the effect. We're going to Contact Fuse with the Hieratic Seal, knowing that the Contact Fusion is about to happen. We're just going to spin the Albaz back to the hand, and thanks to activating a monster effect, I'm now going to be activating the Thrust to add a card from the deck to my hand, which could be a Branded Fusion or a Grass-looking Greener. Thus, the Drill Beam is going to negate and banish the Thrust. We are going to Albaz on summon after being returned back to the hand, discard to fuse with the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Imperm negate, but I can now Contact Fuse, mate. Yep, we do have the Nibiru and Ash though, or if we just leave it on the field, we could fuse it away with the Cartesia because that is a lot more beneficial. With the Albion Branded, we're going to activate the Fuse using the graveyard into a Grangranol. We could potentially Ash here. We're going to send a Garura. Ash on that would not be a good effect as we draw a card into activating our Branded in White, banishing away the Garura and the Albaz to go into a Mirror Jade, and we can now use the Nibiru to tribute off the entire field where we are left with an Ash Blossom. We're going to use the Mirror Jade to non-target monster banish the Blue Eyes White Dragon. With 1 Blue Eyes banish, we need a Roar to get it back onto the field. The Grangranol Engrave will trigger off of the Nibiru, summoning a monster through a monster effect. So it's going to be able to summon from the deck a Quem. Quem on summon is going to send from the deck to the grave a Branded Sword, which could banish itself to grab back a banished Albaz monster. We're going to Foolish Burial, send a Tragedy. And I know it's potentially hard to believe here, but I think we're going to be going into a Branded Fusion play as we add back the banished Albaz to our hand. We can now Branded Opening, discard Alibur to summon Alibur. I think in my mind I was thinking Alibur was still limited to 1, or was it ever limited to 1? It's fully freaking unlimited. We're not even going into a Branded Fusion. We're going to add the Alibur Engrave back to the hand to fuse with the Albaz in hand because we don't even need to go into the Branded Fusion as we now go into Lubellion. This is the second time in the same turn where we are getting a Mirror Jade back onto the field, and we're not even fusing into it, we're reborning it through the effect of Quem. This is through a Nibiru. We had 5 disruptions this turn, we still have Ash Blossom, but we were waiting for a Branded Fusion that never came. Where is the Branded Fusion? I'm sitting here with the dead Ash in my hand. 4 disruption plus an Ash for your Branded Fusion, but you fully played around it. Now, the Branded in Red summoned monster and the Lubellion, which activated the Fuse, cannot declare an attack directly. Ash is going to negate the Albion Branded Dragon, the plan B use of Ash Blossom if there is no Branded Fusion in sight. What do we have here? We're going to be using the Albion Sanctifier right here, right now. We're going to take the Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's now ours. Well, thankfully we have a Roar to gain access to our banished Blue Eyes White Dragon here, but what's that actually going to be doing? Anaconda is the play as we... No way. Okay. Lethal with Anaconda. What the hell was that? Freaking Abo Mod. 2-0 victory. Back to back. Damn. Meta Weekly is here, and Blue Eyes is still top tier, of course. A lot of Fiendsmith hand trap decks. What's the tier list looking like? Blue Eyes the top, Snake Eye Fire King dropping a bit, Snake Eye Fiendsmith barely holding on at tier 2. Looks like it's either play Blue Eyes or get out. Now, what does the Fiendsmith deck type look like overall? It's just a bunch of hand traps plus Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith is essentially their only play besides the Bystials and a ton of other hand traps. So let's check out the total deck list, starting off with Eldritch. This is like Eldritch, White Forest, 60 card deck, Mad Dog. I very much enjoyed watching this deck. I enjoy 60 card decks. They're a lot of fun. I've been playing the new OCG Diabel deck, 60 card nonsense. It's crazy. I don't think they're particularly top tier or very good. So it is definitely a big accomplishment when you do well with one. And that is not counting Branded. Branded is probably one of the few very good 60 card decks here. And there is the extra deck. Good job, Matt Dog. Snake Eye Fiendsmith, release the Kraken. Anything crazy with the main deck? Here is the extra deck. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, but I'm quickly scanning. So if I'm missing something, you tell me. Dark. Looking forward to the Holy Sue. So with this deck, you'd be adding in triple Holy Sue and then one of the field spell. Just add 4 cards in your deck, and your deck gets way better when that comes out and next year. Centurion. Akimo. Anything crazy? Just regular Bystial Centurion. No Synchro Rumble, no Millennium Engine, no craziness. Just nice and simple. Okay. Rescue Ace. Nicky Boy has abandoned Tenpai. And that is a big statement from someone like Nicky Boy. Nicky Boy's history with Tenpai is vast. All Tenpai Clappage, Tenpai, some Rescue Ace in the past also. Tenpai. Also getting top 10, top 3 in the Duels Cup with Tenpai. And no longer playing it because it does not play well against the Blue Eyes Primite deck. And just so you know, look at this. First place with all of the latest hits. This is a banless legal first place deck list, but it was right before Blue Eyes Primite came out. Good job, Nicky Boy, with playing Rescue Ace. Now we have Shark. Hipster with the Shark deck, 43 cards. Shifter just loved being in his hand. Main deck and triple Pirellia. That is definitely something. Pirellia is a water and aqua, so it's got some other synergies with the deck here. And then Adamancipator, Snacks all with the 60 Mad Lad deck. So, you know, I guess what I meant is the 60 card pile-ish decks. I think Adamancipator and Branded are one of the exceptions of a 60 card deck being competitively viable. And it was definitely, I really liked the Millennium Engine giving you access to Curious into the Block Dragon. So it's a... You either go into Curious or Granite, the 2 different ways to get access to your Block Dragon. That is definitely something. That alone made me want to pick up the deck. Thank you, Snacksall. Branded, first freaking place. You up, mate? Abomod, just check out Abomod's profile if you want to compare all the different ways he's been playing Branded. Does it ever change? I don't know. I would need like someone in the chat to scan the deck list. This looks the same though, right? 17 days later, didn't change a single card from what I see. It looks exactly the same. Yeah, card for card. So there you go. And then what else do we have here? The Fiendsmith decks. Wait, yeah, okay, 3 Fiendsmith was here. It was 5 on the tier list. 3, all right. Daradurn, triple Denko Sekka. When you think about it, Blue Eyes does have a lot of back rows. So they're going to have an Imperm. They're going to have the Majesty. So this immediately turns off Majesty, which they are searching for. That could be a good idea to at least turn off 1 Disruption, then try to pop off from there. Okay. And then Gungalus. This is more, it's kind of like a Dragon Link-ish version of the Bystial Fiendsmith. Okay, this is definitely a different take on the deck. with the Chaos Spaces, Seyferts. I need to try this version out, actually. This is interesting to me. Shadow. With, yeah, I guess this is not enough to call it a Magical Musket deck. We're really just barely teching them in. That's why we didn't see it as much. But with triple Fiendsmith Track to make it a lot more consistent, I would say this is a lot cooler than playing with the Blackwing, Steam the Cloak instead. Steam the Cloak was not played by any of them. We dropping the Cloak? What's going on? And then Blue Eyes. We'll start from the bottom. And actually, I will check out Blue Eyes. We could do it from the tier list even. Let's see. The 5 Blue Eyes decks here. Starting off with, we have this one. I guess I can't see their names. I'll call them out right after I look this up. Anything crazy, 42 cards. What is out of the ordinary? 2 Nibiru, that's going to catch people by surprise. Triple Ghost Ogre, double Thualos. Okay. What else we have? 44 cards, double Nibiru, double Ghost Ogre, no Thualos. We have Skill Drain randomly in the deck here. And we have notes on this deck list. I'll actually check out the notes there. 40 cards clean. Super, nothing out of the ordinary in the main deck. So, well, besides the Druid Swarm, that actually is the one random surprise you wouldn't expect. No Ogre, no Thualos. Okay, the Vermilion Dragon Mech is in the extra deck. We have 43 cards, Ultimate Fusion. I am a fan of playing Ultimate Fusion. I like it. Tyrant Dragon is just so good, and then also when you got a Blue Eyes on field, it's a form of disruption. Nice. Not 2 Drill Beam and the Ultimate Fusion, and double Ghost Ogre. And then the second place best performing deck list is 45 cards with the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, double Ghost Ogre, double Nibiru, double Drill Beam, double Triple Tactics Talent, double Roar. People do not expect the Roar. If they're going all in on... If my main strategy is to banish away your Blue Eyes White Dragons because I see your 1 Roar engraved, that's going to be an unpleasant surprise when you whip out that other Roar. So good job to all of you. So the names being Abdullah, Modar, Kilbun was trying for a stronger going second plus 40 instead of 42. Wrong Rose Dragon, I know I had a vision. Play whatever you like in the extra. Wrong Rose Dragon? What? You submitted the wrong Rose Dragon and you committed to it the entire day? Mobile EX, shout out to you, and also Euzoria. Yup. I am curious though. Kilvun, was it your deck I was copying recently? The April 10th event? Who got first place in this event? I think it was your deck I copied. It was something with Ultimate Fusion. I forget which event it was. I've been liking the 40 card version. When the heck was this? This was, okay, April 10th. All right, the other event that was. Let me bring that up real quick. A really clean version of Blue Eyes that I enjoyed playing was this one. MetaWeekly. Yeah. Terra Mare's deck list. I'm playing this card for card. Even with the double drill. I think I maybe took the second drill beam out for a 3rd Ogre. That may be the only choice that I changed. Otherwise, I'm playing the same extra deck. I'm loving the Trishilla. I even been trying the Indigo Eye Silver Dragon out. The on-summon full field negate is pretty cool, mate. And it's a permanent negate. Just full negate like a goddess. Yeah, I like this version of the deck. It's super clean. But good job to everyone, and this is the tier list afterward. Blue Eyes are pretty much in the same spot, maintaining its power level at 33, and it just went up by 0.5. So good job. And thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Let's go.